All right, let's just dive into the second topic almost immediately. Now, the House of Representatives has passed a bill for an upward review of the salaries, allowances, and fringe benefits of judicial office holders in the country, with a total monthly package of 5.39 million naira for the Chief Justice of Nigeria. In the executive bill submitted to the Green Chamber on Tuesday by President Bola Tinubu, all the justices of the Supreme Court are to earn a total package of 4.21 million naira, while the President of the Court of Appeal is to earn a total monthly package of 4.48 million naira. Similarly, justices of the Appeal Court are to earn a total monthly package of 3.73 million naira. The monthly package comprises basic salaries and all regular allowances, including car fueling and maintenance, personal assistance, hardship, entertainment, utilities, security, outfits, journal subscription, medicals, service allowance, restricted or forced lifestyle, dual responsibility, and legal researches. Similarly, the House also approved other allowances, including leave allowances, extra codes per night of $2,000 where applicable. Duty tour allowances where applicable. Severances, gratuity of 80.78 million naira at the completion of a tenure. Now, these also an option. There is also an option for a motor vehicle loan due for repayment before the expiration of the tenure of the officer concerned. Now, one would wonder how and why the salaries are higher than House of Senators and than those of the senators and even the presidents. Interesting times. Now let's talk about this.
They also have hardship allowance, by the way.
Yes.
So what's the hardship about? So what are the inconveniences about?
But my first question I want to put out there, which is, of course, a question on the lips of some Nigerians
Yeah.
at this time, is this compensation to the judiciary for anything?
Moses, for the first time, you took words out of my system.
Just one, please.
Thank you very much, Moses. You see, when we look at the way things are actually operating, you are beclouded even in your view what is actually happening. If suddenly we asked for the independence of the judiciary and how they need to be paid well so that they can focus more on what they're doing. But instances where you are earning more than Senate, earning more than the executive head, there is more to it.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to see it as compensation, but I feel if not at par, the discrepancy should not be much more than what we're saying. So I was seeing in the prologue there of about 4 point something million monthly.
Right.
I don't know the current earning of Mr. President, neither of the Senate, because we keep asking the question for it to be made public, and there is no pure clarity. All we hear is that people are just saying we earn so much, but we are not earning as much as what they think we are earning. But for me, in figures, I want clear figures like this. But this has actually postulated that they are not earning as much as 3 million, 2 million that we have in the
Official pay.
pay. But if three of you are supposed to be at par, because we believe that the executive, the legislative arm, and the judiciary, they are independent and par, and one seems to be earning than the other, then there are more questions for us to ask.
Isn't that so that the others who are not earning as much but have access to more funds do not influence the weaker one
Who do not have anything
who doesn't
to
really
write
have
on?
anything?
Because
Yes.
for every senator or a member of the National Assembly, there are constituency allowance, which the judiciary arm may not have anything to do.
Yeah.
For the executive, there are contracts to execute.
All right.
So we have compensation in quotes
Unfortunately.
for those two arms. So this can be, but I feel if we must just oppose that, you can consider, it's just like saying in an organization, we have the head of finance, the head of human resources, and the head of production. But their pay, is staggering. Maybe based on negotiation, or they have almost the same input, in the sense that a finance man is not superior to an head of human resources, because if he or she do not recruit the right set of people, the finance man may not have it all. And if he doesn't do the same to production, the production man is not going to get the best out of it. If the production man does not utilize effectively those that were actually recruited, he may not have that wherewithal to give the input to make the organization grow. And if the finance man is not there to make sure that he put in those control mechanisms, so you can see that the three of them are important. No one is superior to the other. So I'm using that to juxtapose that the legislators, the executive, the judiciary, as far as I'm concerned, are at par. So we should not see one, having that overriding stuff in terms of salary to the other. So if that is happening, that the judiciary are earning more than the executive and the legislator, then what they're saying is that there are other areas where we are actually augmenting it, which you don't have the opportunity or have access to, that we are just opening the ground for.
All right, Dr. Gani, I really want to come to you on this. Now, it's interesting to note that the government has come out to say that Nigeria doesn't have money. And another interesting part is that the legislators have passed this bill. What are your thoughts bringing this together?
You see, my thought is as good as your thought. Right. When I saw the figure, I think the figures, there are disparities in it. They said the monthly allowance of the CJN will be 5.4 million per month, and its annual will be 64.8 million per annum for the CJN, and for the justice of the Supreme Court will be 61.8 million per annum. Right. And the question is that, where are they coming from? We should look about history. Here we are talking about the independence of the judiciary. Do not forget, they're still not independent. Someone is paying them.
Right.
He that pays the piper dictates the tune. So independent, they are not generating the money themselves. They are not in charge. They need to rely on the executive for them to be paid. So the independent is not, the only thing is just like you are increasing their pay. And their pay, the gap is so much. As at September 9, 4th of September 2023, there is still news all around that the salary of the CJN, when it was part of the justice, is 750,000 per month. And because he's now becoming a CJN, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, they give him a very good accommodation, so his salary dive to 450 per month. And he said, no, my salary is not up to that. My salary is around 280,000 plus per month. I'm not earning as what to think, not even close to 450, as they talk about the professor. Then you now say either 450,000 per month or 280,000 per month to 5. My God, so much money. And right? So if you now, it's not even 100%. In the mathematical world, they call it geometric progress. It's not even geometric, right? It's an exponential. The gap is so much, okay, right? It's so wide. And we are still talking about signing for increment of your workers, minimum wages. And you're still struggling on that.
I was actually I was about getting to that point, because now SANU and NASU are on strike. They say they are actually observing the strike because of the arrears they are owing them, and their salary is not paid for like 4 months or thereabout. And now that the House of Rep have come up to say we want to, or rather they've already, not just that we want to, they've already signed it by 1st of January 2024, by 1st of January next
2025.
Yeah, 2025, thank you. The president they will start implementing that payment. And then what we want to ask, some people are now saying this in Nigeria, that it's more like creating another challenge for, the well, I say, yes, the government. Now, do you also told that line that increasing the salary of the judiciary officer from what it used to be to millions of naira now, do you think Nigeria can be able to foot that bill?
There is, you see, when you say there's no money in Nigeria, there is money. We just have the capacity, we don't have the capacity to spend it judiciously and effectively. The money is just been going into some set of people's and it's not being used for productivity. It's either it's being stocked in the bank, or it's being changed, converted to dollars, or it's being invested in another jurisdiction. There is so much money in Nigeria that we do not know how to use it effectively to the benefit of the citizen, right? So you now see now, if we are productive, our level of export, a state governor state, he said, don't go there, I'm richer than my state. Then why are you the state governor? Don't get it. So all these things, these parameters needs to be looked into. The citizens that are this, when you look at 64.8 million, it can pay more than 10,000. What am I saying? That minimum wage, and we are still struggling with minimum wage. We should think out of the box and see how we can make the country work and we become more productive to ensure that, it's not, and with this now, is a way we are also trying to, we are going to try to increase inflation, right? Because we don't have the parameters and to justify it. Moving from either 450 or 750 to 5.4 million. The gap is wide. And we have the lower staff at the lower cadre that are still crying, give us a minimum wage. We don't have. Now, we have it in each of those states. We have a lot of drop out of school. What is the government doing like that? You said that, the state government should get 50% so that they can get the grant, 50 billion so that they can get 10 billion from the government for out of school students. The state government said we don't have the money. And we see now that, and do not forget, they says that the child of the poor man that you fail to send to school will be a threat to your own children when they grow up. These are things we should look into and see how we can make the country a better place for, not when it gets to politics, you now go and begin to eat with alimanjiri, sharing spoon with them. It does not make sense. Okay. Does it better their life more than what they are?
Mr. Olusegun, Nigerians came out, some Nigerians have been airing their opinion as regards this bill that the House of Representatives signed. And it triggered a call for Nigeria to leave the presidential system of government to parliamentary system of government, saying that we are spending a lot of some people now are saying that we're spending a lot of money to put some people in some positions that they don't even know how to harness. Some time ago, you recall that when we Nigerians are crying over the fact that economic hardship is so dire, some people in the House say that they want to vote a vote of confidence. They called out, like they wanted to do that for the president, and some people shut it down and all that. Now, people are saying that if the people representing us in the House of Representatives actually have much work to do, it would have actually been better. So they are tagging it to be, we have more people in power or in the office doing nothing. Do you also told that line that we need to reduce it, we need to pull down some arms and move into another system of government?
Yeah, thank you very much, Fina. You see, first and foremost, let me just, before I respond to your question, just give a clue of what Dr. Ganiel said. See, each time I hear that we don't add money, I don't like that statement. I don't like it at all. At all. When you say you don't add money and you see funds in the hands of several individuals in this country, you ask yourself, each time we traveled, we are disappointed at the way people perceive us. He said that we don't value ourselves. So when you say we don't have money, this that our rep have done, I think we are applauding them to see the kind of person they are. At least it's a mixed house. So it's not about APC, right, or PDP or Labour. It's a mixed house, and they are doing this for us. we have not seen the parts of the lower cadre. You are only concentrating on the higher one because those are the ones that can challenge you. The man that is doing the paperwork that will give to CJN is not being considered of what is going to be paid. But we are talking of how do we take the lot, how do we, make the life of those ogas better so that they can oppress the lower people. It's quite disheartening, I must say. Quite disheartening. And going the path of saying, some of us have advocated that we want the unicameral way of legislation rather than having the House of Rep and the Senate. Can we just have one? And if possible, can you be on part-time? I've been an advocate to say, can we be on part-time? There are times you hear that we are on recess for 3 months. So those 3 months, what are we doing? Are you being paid? The answer is yes.
They
doing
actually
what?
sit for half a year.
Sir?
They actually sit for half a year.
Half a year. So the
Yes.
remaining 6 months is on what? And you're being paid
They oversee
those small,
constituency projects.
they are not paying them humongous salary, but you are still being paid something for those periods that you're not on state and you claim your, so you can have time for yourself in doing certain things and you are earning government. That's why I've been an advocate to say let's operate during camera legislator where we have just one arm and let's place it on the call where when you come, because we know in court that it is not people like Shola, like myself, like David that are high up there. These are people that are fulfilled. They've one way or the other been governor. You know, when you go to the Senate, it's a retirement position. Yeah. You just finish as a governor and you feel that I need to be relevant, let me go to the Senate or House of Rep. We know that they are made. So when you make it a call, when you come for sitting, we'll pay you sitting allowance and you go back to your businesses that you're doing, that you have, that on its own, what it will do is, some of the funds that you've actually, got into yourself, by virtue of the office, you can invest it and monitor those things. Then we can follow through to say, these are businesses that we can pinpoint that you have managed successfully. So when you have a call, like some of these associations we do, when you have meeting, you come, you are having meeting next week, Monday, everybody needs to this, we've flied out some of those things that we need to discuss. There is emergency meeting that we need to meet. These are the reasons. You come, we can afford to say, okay, we are paying this allowance. As a matter of fact, you don't even need the money because you are made. A lot of them will come up to tell us that the reason why they are coming into politics is to serve. But I ask myself the question, is it indeed to serve with so much that they are actually earning? So for me, I support the idea of saying, rather than having the two arms of legislatures, let's just have one. Even the executive, are there ways that we can streamline the numbers that we are so that we can...
Okay, I'm still going to stay with you. Now, two questions. First is particularly on the issue of this amount that we've read out. Where does that leave the Nigerian Bar Association and her members? Because at this point, let's face it, the people at the top, just like we've rightly mentioned, the people at the top of the cadre, particularly in the justice system, are the ones being paid the big amount. And then, of course, the ones that are also coming in, the ones that are even in the board of the NBA also will be clamoring to get to that position because it's now juicy. And that's on that part. What then lies the body, the Nigerian Bar Association? That's one. Two, what do Nigerians at this point, and of course, maybe I should ask the same question, where then leaves Nigerians with all of these figures that we're hearing? Noting the fact that at this point of Nigeria's economy, we're now taking palliatives. That's one. Again, the president's wife came out yesterday, and of course it was reported this morning, telling Nigerians to go into farming. And we are seeing these figures. Nigeria is also borrowing for consumption, like we've all seen. The budget padding is also there. Figures are flying everywhere. Where does that leave Nigerians, and what should Nigerians do at this time?
You see, what we are discussing this morning, I think what some of us have been saying as we speak. Before now, while we're growing, we have the poor, the middle class, and the elite. as we speak, we have collapsed the middle class. That does not exist any longer. So we have the elites, the poor, and we now created another office, the poor of the poor.
Of the poor, the poorest of the
The
poor.
poorest of the poor. So those are the three categories that we have now. So you ask yourself, the Nigeria Bar Association, a lot of regulators and institutions do not have positive influence on this politician. Everybody, as we speak, is looking for what is that is innate for me as an individual to better the lot of my family. It's about I and I alone. It's not even entrenched into the private sector. And that's why we are seeing failures. You see, a lot of systems that we have seen work for private sector in terms of value proposition is no longer there. And these are the same set of people that you call technocrat, that you can vouch and say, let's see them go into our political offices, they will make the difference. And what are we getting? How can we have so much technocrats in our House of Representatives and nobody is speaking to the fact that what are we doing to the less trodden people, but we are concentrating more on those that are high up there. The number of people or the percentage of the people that they are going to increase their salary compared to those other staff is not comparable. They can decide to lock the gate of all the judiciary offices, and these people will not have any positive influence on it.
Okay.
Why are you not speaking to those people? And we can talk more on that aspect. How many of us have followed through? The executive have raised the bar to say some states should go ahead and pay, additional fee. I think only 10 states is obliging to that. Some are adding 10,000, except maybe for 2 states that are adding like 30,000 to the minimum wage. And the cost of things we are not speaking to that. All we are doing is that how can we make the elites to be much more better than where we are living there. And that's why you see the desperation in the act of every individual to aspire to the top. So if this is there, those that the Nigeria Bar Association that are the lower level are yearning up to be part of this.
Because of time, let's quickly get your concluding thoughts. And as you make to conclude, I'll start with you, Dr. Gani Oluwashola. As you conclude, what would you say about NLC's demand for 1 million naira at this point?
I will justify it. For them to be able to pay the CJN 5.4 million, then they should. You say it might not be.
There's also an ESTA code where applicable.
Dollars.
$2,000.
Well, some people are reporting 2,000. Some are reporting 1,300.
And you can see that this bill was passed with speed, right? With speed, and these guys have been fighting for increment of this. It's just like maybe Joe Ajero is not taking this presidency seriously like his predecessor, Adamu Shiomole. He should be able to pull some weight.
Was actually
these guys should be able to. They should get compensation. They should be compensated. At least with what we are saying, minimum salary should be able to buy at least minimum a bag of rice. A bag of rice is going to 75,000, 80,000.
Let me know where you are getting that, because the one I got is 90,000, so that I can save that 15,000.
You see now, the one I bought last. You get, so you now see, so which means that your minimum salary cannot even buy a bag of rice, and you are still struggling that we can't pay 40,000, we can't pay 50,000, and you can approve 5.4 million for just one person, and other justice. You can approve 61 point. These are things, when we talk about our constitution, we must be seeing 3 things are more germane.
Okay.
Equity, fairness, and justice. In all these things, do we see equity there? Do we see fairness? And is there justice?
Big question that you're leaving us with. Is there equity, fairness, and justice in everything playing out? Mr. Olusegun Okunade, your concluding thoughts as well, knowing fully well that elections are still taking place in some parts of the country. Are we going to put our eyes on the judiciary again hoping for better days and equity, fairness, and justice?
No, the world will still stand. Eyes on the judiciary. We always put the eyes there because if you even seen the internal rancor that it's playing out with the primaries, look at Edo, PDP, look at Ondo, those things, eyes will always be on the judiciary. I just want to conclude with this to say the government should put at the back of their mind that there is what we call posterity that we judge. There will be a record. We'll play back this that is happening in this nation.
Right.
We'll play back in the years to come.
Okay.
People can speak about Awolowo. People can speak about Babaja Konde. People can speak about Nnamdi Azikiwe. It's playing back the video of what they've done. What are we going to say about you to your generation? A lot of them are, while they were starting their political ambition, were wearing the cap like Awo, like Zeke. Can people follow through
No, they're
some
wearing,
of the things?
the cup is different now, if you've noticed.
It's different,
It's
but are
different.
you setting the right tune that the generation to come can say, indeed, this is entrenched with integrity? That's what we're concerned about, because if we do not secure our environment with what my brother have said, equity, with fairness and justice, we will continue to bridle insecurity, and an insecure environment can never prosper. I just leave them with that so that they can know the next thing at least to do to give us a sign of relief.
All right, then. A big thanks to our gentlemen in the studio. We've been speaking with Mr. Olusegun Okwade, who is a public affairs analyst, and Dr. Ganiu Oluwashola, managing partner, KJB Professional Services as well. We must say a very big thank you to you for your for coming and for your thoughts as well.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll get into the world of business.